Welcome back, friends, to the Singularity. Let's get weird. I am Danny. What are we pondering today? We need a topic. Oh, yeah. Introduction. To light. We're going to talk about light today. Why it is super important in your life. First off, imagine this as energy, right? Energy all across here. One spectrum, you have cosmic rays like gamma. That's 1M short, gamma. And on another spectrum, you'll find radio. These are energy. Okay? You've probably never had gamma before because you'd probably be the Hulk. And I haven't seen the Hulk. And I know you're not the Hulk. Radio, you're probably familiar with. Gamma is going to be a short wavelength. Radio, a long wavelength. We're talking about wavelengths today. And we're spelling wrong. Wavelengths. That's not working right. There we go. Now we got it. Long wavelengths, short wavelengths, gamma, radio. Where does light fall into the place? Well, we only see a fraction of light, of the total spectrum of light. And this light is called the visible spectrum. The visible spectrum. Okay? This is the light that we perceive with our senses, our eyes namely, but our skin as well. And this is going to be, well, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll start here. This is going to be the 740 nanometer light. And this is going to be to 380 nanometer. Long wave, short wave. If this is the whole spectrum, then the visible spectrum would be like this. Okay? That is what we witness in life as humans. Okay? This is what we perceive. A small sliver. Things like snakes, bats, and all. I mean, they use echolocation. Some snakes have infrared detectors, so they see a whole different world than us. They experience the world different. 740, 380. Okay, so this is going to be from the UV to the IF, which is infrared spectrum. Okay, we see everything in between here as light, right? Visible light. If it goes through a spectrum, right, you have light going into a spectrum and it makes a rainbow, correct? And this is what you would see as blue and red. And the only reason why we see these things as colors is because of the wavelength. Okay? Our brain processes this information, which light is information, and it creates in our mind it broadcasts a visual. It creates a world for us to navigate, to be safe, right? It's like those horses that wears the little things on its eyes. It's to keep us on the path. It's to keep us safe in a world. All right? And so that's what we see. Now, where do we see this? The sun emits a lot of these. Obviously, the atmosphere is going to protect us from a lot of the cosmic waves. Okay, and we use the radio waves. But we'll see red this side, around sunrise, sunsets, and we typically see this spectrum around solar noon. Or not exactly solar noon, around noon and a few hours before and after. Okay? And that has to do with the length of the wave coming through because of the angle it is passing through our atmosphere, and that's what we perceive into our face. Okay? Now, what does this actively, how does this actively affect our lives is the question. Well, we have this thing called a circadian clock, right? The circadian clock has this organ in your brain called the SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. What does that do? You're probably asking the question. Good for you. Well, it's a clock, okay? And what the clock does is it takes information that is from light, sends it down into your cells, your tissues, your organs, other parts of your body, and synchronizes this all together, right? And so, as you can see, we have this light at sunrise and sunset and noon. So, check mark if you're catching this, because the process starts in the morning, and then you will eventually get to here. So you're catching that, and then you're going to get to here. You're catching that. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you're getting full spectrum sunlight, and that's a huge distinction from things that happen in our normal everyday society. Full spectrum sunlight is key because this clock controls your hormones. It controls your functions, your sleep and wake cycles. Sleep and wake. Very important. Okay? You need light and dark. Harmony. Good, bad. We've been talking about this. This is key. Dark is just as important. So, how does this culminate into our life? And how does this affect us on a level that you may not notice? Well, let's talk about this. We've talked about this, IF being in sunrise and sunsets. Where do you find UV? You find it in your phone, TV, your home, your workplace, everywhere. Just look around. Look around at an average anything. There's lights everywhere. Everything's lit. Blue lit. What does that send your brain a signal of? We talked about this. Noon. So let's just break this down for a second. If you're on your phone late at night, the TV, watching your Netflix, home, just in your home after hours, it's dark now, early. You're working all day under blue lit lights. Think about this for a second. What signal are you sending your clock? If you're sending it a noon signal while you're sitting in bed at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, or 11 or 12, understand that when you isolate this part of the spectrum from the rest, you're not getting full spectrum. The reason this works at noon for your hormones is that together they work in unison. They synchronize. This is the antidote to this, and this is the antidote to this. You need them both to be present in order to have coherence. When we isolate this in a blue lit world, we can cause chaos here. Okay? And we call that decoherence, not coherence. We're not talking about that. We're talking about decoherence. When you start to decohere from nature the way it was made and isolate yourself into a blue lit world, look at everything. You will cause chaos to this clock. And we're gonna dive into this a little bit more because it's very, very important. Just know that the name of the game is coherence. Above all, when you start to lose coherence, you will start to see all of these chronic diseases flourish. You know, think about this. How does the average person live today? You get up, you put your shoes on, you go straight to work. It's probably maybe 8. You put your sunglasses on. You're probably wondering what these funny glasses are. Well, they're blue blockers. I wear them at night. You put your sunglasses on, you're blocking this signal from the very start. You go to work, you sit inside all day. You're missing the noon signal. You get off of work, you go home, you go back into your kitchen, your cooking, blue lit room, watching the Netflix, eating the potato chips, drinking the beers, minding your own business. All the while, you're thinking it's the food. But it ain't just the food. It's our environment. Just imagine yourself like a bearded dragon living in a terrarium with a fake sun. It's a nice bearded dragon. Sitting on a heat rock. This is our life. This is the average person's life. So it's just something to think about. Are you coherent with nature? Are you doing things in your life that make you coherent? That keep you coherent? Or are you doing things that aren't? That's the big question. Ask yourself that question. Ponder it. And we're going to dive deep into some of these other things if you want. But this was just the introduction. So stay feeling thoughtful. See you next time.